My curls have gone away. Good evening. Hello, it's time to go live. Good evening, everybody. It's time to go live. Good Tuesday evening. Today is September, let me check. September 23rd. We've got what, another week or so in this month. Man, it's already officially fall. It's officially fall. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Good evening, welcome in, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna give it a chance here to have everyone welcomed in. Good evening. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please do drop down in the chat where you are viewing from, and I would love it, love it, love it if you would give the video a thumbs up, give it a like. That helps to just push it out and let people know, oh, there's a live on and people like it. So welcome in. I am so glad that you are here with me tonight to give me an hour of your time so that we can discuss some really interesting cruise news. But isn't cruise news always interesting? Since I've been doing this, I think it's been just under 3 years. And the news is always interesting. When I started, it was like right when the pandemic and cruising was about to start again. And boy, oh boy, that was interesting times. All the way up to now, when cruising has changed so significantly. It's changed so much, but still one of my favorite ways to travel, so I'm still doing it. Yeah, but let me see. I'm doing a bunch of stuff here. I have my videos up, not videos, but I have my screen over here, all of the stuff that I want to discuss with you tonight, and I have my computer over here and my notes down here. I am a multitasker, let me tell you. But welcome in tonight. How are you doing this evening? How has your week been so far? I mean, it's only Tuesday, but that doesn't mean anything. What's been going on with you? What is the latest news with you? How many of you have a cruise that you have either planned for the remainder of 2025 or that you have taken for 2025? I would love to know where you've been on your cruising for 2025. What ship have you sailed on, or what ship are you about to sail on? And I'm gonna share that with you as well, because we have some exciting news here at Right Recipe for Travel. I'm really, really excited. Let me start with that, because I'm excited and it's gonna spill out. As you know, I am a travel advisor. I am with Mainstreet Travel. And all travel agencies have things that they call FAM trips. And it stands for familiarization trips. They give us as travel advisors the opportunity to go to certain places, cruise ships, hotels, all of that, B&Bs, Airbnbs, whatever, and get firsthand knowledge. You know, I can sell that to you better if I've been there. If I've been on Icon of the Seas, I can tell you, don't go here. I think that was bad. I think this, you know, so they want us to familiarize ourselves with the brand. And sometimes those trips are absolutely free, which is stunning. Sometimes those trips are significantly discounted, which is still stunning. And I have a familiarization trip that I was invited to go to. So this is exciting. And I might have shared it with you before, but I'm gonna share it with you again. Because I'm really excited and I want you to be a part of it with me. To go, as you know, MSC Cruise Line is coming to Texas in November. What do I mean? They're going to be home ported right in Galveston, right up the street from me, for about 4.5 hours, up the street from me in Galveston. And so I have gone on an MSC cruise, I've booked MSC cruises, and so my travel agency asked for anyone who would be willing to speak on MSC cruising. What is it like as a passenger? What is it like to get in as a travel advisor and go through their system? Because sometimes the portals themselves are wonky. They're hard to navigate, and you know, all of the portals are just not that easy. Just give a discussion on how is MSC, the whole experience. And I have been labeled as an MSC expert, which is really funny because I've only been on one MSC cruise, but that's about to change. So MSC reached out to our travel agent and they said, we want to get a couple of your agents to come down and do this overnight event. We're going to pull the ship in. We're going to have your best cruise and travel agents come on board. They're going to spend one night. We're going to open it up and show them everything. We're going to peel back the curtain, show them all the bells, all the whistles, the inner workings, how it really works, so that they can get a really good example of MSC and then deliver it. So I have been chosen, yay, 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 to go. And that is November 7th. So I'm super, super excited because the cruising starts for the general public on November 9th. So hopefully anyone who is interested in MSC or Galveston cruising, you've got yourself booked on an MSC cruise. I can tell you already, their ships are stunning. Their ships are stunning. They are beautiful, really great architecture. Something about that Italian style, that European flair. Their ships are gorgeous. So that is coming up for us in November. I'm counting it down. I have less than 53 days. I was counting it down. I don't remember how many days now, but November 7th and 8th, I will be there in Galveston with all of the fanfare and the top brass and some of, the best travel agents checking out MSC pulling into Galveston for the first time. I'm really excited about that. So I had to share that with you. And I probably shared it already. So yay, yay. But that's fun. I like cruising, and I like ship spotting. When I go on a cruise and we pull up for the first time to the cruise port, or maybe you're staying at a hotel that you can actually see. Now that is really fun. The hotel where you can see the cruise port and see the ships come and go. I could sit there and watch that just for hours. It's so much fun. So we're doing that. Let me make sure I have my notes so I can stay on task and make sure I tell you everything. So I had to tell you about my wonderful opportunity. It's supposed here, I live in the DFW, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they've been talking about wonky weather. So hopefully I'll be able to stay on with you this whole time and no lights or electricity will flicker or go out. So there you go. We just got back from our cruise aboard the Carnival Jubilee. I had a fantastic time. I told you about that last week. Just a few little hiccups. So after a cruise, the cruise line sends you out their survey, right? And my suggestion is to really, let me sit up a little bit, do that survey. Yep. Tell them everything that you loved. Tell them all the stuff that you didn't like. Give them suggestions. If they're, helpful, give them helpful suggestions, because that's how things get better. And so I was just thinking about one of the suggestions was don't, how can I say this? On Carnival newest ships, the Excel class ships, which is the Celebration, the Mardi Gras, and the Jubilee, they offer you the opportunity to go to 2 specialty restaurants for free for the very first time. You don't have to pay for it. And that is Chibang, the Mexican Chinese fusion restaurant, and then Cucina del Capitano, the Italian restaurant. And that's a real cool perk. I think it's great. That's probably going to end pretty soon, but it's still going on now. And we went to Chibang, and I told you all about the bad experience we had there. I wouldn't recommend Chibang to anybody. I'm sorry. I would not. I did not have a great experience. My other 2 companions who were with me did not have a great experience. We didn't like the food. The food was cold, and then they spilt hot beans all down my back. So I got burnt. Didn't like my food, hot beans. My clothes were covered, They had to offer, they didn't have to, but what they did, because it was an accident, was they offered us all free laundry because our clothes got stained. So I didn't enjoy Chibang. So I talked a lot about that. But there was a lot of things on that cruise that I really did enjoy. Technology has made things so much easier. Facial recognition when you get off the ship and it's like, bing, bye, okay, you're great. That is such a time saver. The way that we do muster now, love it. You walk up to, yes, they should have gave you more than, you're right. I see you, Mr. Smith, I see you. I was gonna fuss for a minute, and then I thought, you know what? I thought about me being at work. It was an accident. That waiter, oh my gosh. He apologized to me and apologized and apologized and apologized. The manager came, the maitre d' came, they apologized. They asked us if we wanted to have free dinner there. They asked us if we wanted a bottle of champagne. They were nervous that I was going to be one of those. And, they really tried. It was an accident, but it was okay. It was okay. But some of the things that I was thinking about how they could make it better, one of the things that really was annoying, and any of you who cruise, you'll probably agree with me, was the elevator situation. You know, when they make an Excel class ship or these new large ships, you know, they're in the game now to make the greatest, biggest, newest ships. So they're making ships bigger and bigger. So there just has to be a better way to be able to get people on and off an elevator. I think one time we counted and the maximum on the elevator was 12. And I thought, this ship holds 6,500 passengers plus crew, and sometimes crew are taking the elevators as well. And 13 people can get on these 6 elevators right here. Now, I know that they have more than 6. You know, there's 6 here and 6 there, but that elevator situation, I don't know. Anybody know? Who has the answer to the elevator situation? What can we do to make sure that the elevators, you know, after any event, after a show, and everybody would come out into the stairway or come out into the area and just forget it. Forget embarkation, disembarkation, forget it. You're not taking the elevator unless you wait for 30 minutes. And I know sometimes we waited, and a lot of times we just took the stairs, which is good for cardio, right? But I just gave them some suggestions. I would love to know, what would be a suggestion that you would give to the cruise lines? Something that you write out on their surveys. Let me see something here. What would you, I don't know, what would you say? Give me a second. Here we go. Making sure that everything's coming up good here. There we go. Yes, sometimes I'm able to see the chat and other times I am not. And if I miss what you say, I will make sure to get back to you on that. I would love to know some answers. What can we do? What are your suggestions? I really took my time with that survey. And another thing that you can do, here's a little tip that you probably already know if you've cruised before. Some of the names, and the staff, they wear name tags. You're going to forget them. After your 7-day, 8-day, 5, 4-day, 10-day cruise, you go home and you're like, man, that was the best waiter ever. That was the best bartender ever. And you're like, well, what was her name? You're like, take a picture of the name tag or write it down. Do something so that you can have their name, because we've been told always, I do see that staggering the release of the crowds when people get out of the elevator. It's a great idea. And that is why they don't have all events at the same time. You know, sometimes you might be like, oh man, I want to go to this and that, but they're at different times. And yeah, you're right. That's why. But make sure you get a picture of the names, because the staff have told us on multiple different cruise lines on multiple occasions that if you say their name, of course, when you're giving them kudos, that it helps. It helps with raises, bonuses, perks, days off. So if you encounter a cruise, if you encounter a crew who goes out of their way to do something for you, get their name. And on those surveys, when they come to you, first of all, really do take your time and answer the surveys. And our cruise director said, it says on the email that you get, this will only take you about 5 or 10 minutes. Lies. You know, they ask you a lot of questions. They're trying to get your feedback. If you went to specialty, if you were at the bar, if you did their excursions, you know, all the different areas that you might have touched, they want to get your feedback. And if you're writing a lot, not it was great or terrible, it's going to take you more than 15 minutes, but sit down and get their names and make sure you give them some good feedback. So we did that recently for the feedback for the Jubilee. I would love to know some of the things that you think could be just a little bit more improved on cruise ships. So speaking of that, I have four cruise news stories to share with you tonight. These stories, I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, and I would love to know your take on it. So I'm going to start with this first one here. We're talking about Margaritaville at sea. And I am going to give you just a little bit of background. If you're a cruiser, you already know this. You already know this. And thank you very much. Of course, drop down in the comments, any comments that you have, or where you're cruising. I said cruising. Guess what's on my mind? Where you're watching from. But Margaritaville at sea, their third cruise ship will set sail from a major port. So, you know, one of the biggest ports, the biggest port is Miami. That's like the cruise capital. That's where all of the ships, not all of them, that's where a huge majority of ships come and go from Miami. So this is a big deal for little bitty Margaritaville at sea. Let's talk about it. I'm going to read this. It says Margaritaville at Sea started small when it first launched back in 2022 from the port of Palm Beach, Florida, with their 1,300 passenger ship called the Paradise. So they've been in operation since 2022, and they started with a small 1,300 passenger vessel. Originally, this was part of the Costa Cruises fleet. Margaritaville at Sea Paradise brought Jimmy Buffett's island escapism to sea with short, affordable Bahamas cruises. That's what Margaritaville at Sea was all about. Short, affordable cruises to the Bahamas, rather. Okay. So 2 years later, the line added a second ship, the 2,650 passenger Islander. So they more than doubled with that next ship in 2 years later, which was also acquired from Costa Cruises. With the bigger Islander, Margaritaville at Sea introduced longer sailings to adventurous destinations in Mexico and the Western Caribbean, and this was from Tampa, Florida. Okay. Now, as the cruise line embarks on the next phase of its expansion with a third ship purchased from, you guessed it, Costa Cruises, Margaritaville at Sea is preparing to position its brand as a major player in the industry. So they're going big like everybody else. They're like, hey, there is a definite space for small ships. There is a place for that. We talked about that with the luxury and ultra luxury lines and even mainstream lines. There is a place for small ships. People love them, traditional cruisers. Small ships are able to get into ports and places that large ships just are not able to get into. There's definitely a place. But as we know, many cruise lines are building bigger. Let me read some more. Beginning in 2027, Margaritaville at Sea's new flagship will sail Caribbean cruises from the cruise capital of the world, that is Miami, some of the biggest and most innovative cruise ships in the industry. So setting sail from Port Miami in 2027, their 3,450 passengers, so it's getting bigger and bigger, Margaritaville at Sea Beachcomber will introduce an ambitious new lineup of year-round Margaritaville cruises to the Eastern and Southern Caribbean aboard the fleet's biggest and boldest ship yet. So congratulations, Margaritaville at Sea. That's cool. I love having more choices. I love it. I have not sailed on Margaritaville at Sea. Currently, with our travel agency, we have an opportunity starting, I think it's even day after tomorrow. We have 5 opportunities to do a familiarization trip with Margaritaville at Sea. So I have the opportunity between now and the middle of November to get on a Margaritaville at Sea ship and get to know it. And I'm looking forward to getting to know it. So it says that the Beachcomber, the new ship, will sail 4 to 8 night Eastern and Southern Caribbean itineraries. And it says here they have emphasis on week-long sailings crafted for deeper relaxation, exploration, and escapism. So I love it. Some of the places that it will be traveling to include Phillipsburg, St. Martin, St. Thomas, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic. They have this a wonderful lazy river there. It's so much fun. Bimini, Bahamas, Oranjestad, Aruba, Kralingik, Bonaire, I'm sure I didn't say that right, but Bonaire, and Williamstad, Curacao. So some really cool places. What do you think? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I would love to know, have any of you been on Margaritaville at Sea, and what are your thoughts? Would you try it? Would you go again? I'm looking at what they're currently doing. It says the Paradise does quick 2 to 4 night getaways from Palm Beach currently to Key West. And the Islander offers 4 to 10 night adventures. Wow, I didn't know they had one that long. Family-friendly vacations from Tampa to Mexico and the Western Caribbean. So to add the beachcomber to do these longer sailings to Eastern and Southern Caribbean, I think that is exciting. Way to go, Margaritaville at Sea. Would you do it? And another thing, it should be like an affordable trip, something that, now what is affordable? You know, it should be something that would cost you a little bit less maybe than a Royal Caribbean or Norwegian, something like that. So we have an opportunity there. And congratulations to Margaritaville at Sea. I love it, love it, love it. Let me know your thoughts. I am looking forward to it. I am not loyal to any one cruise line. I like cruising on different ones, right? But you do notice the difference on cruise lines. Royal has a different flavor and flair than Carnival, than Norwegian, than Princess, and MSC. And I like exploring those differences. I like seeing like, okay, this is like their little niche, what they're famous for. This is how they roll. So since I have not been on Margaritaville at Sea yet, that's exciting to me to have an opportunity to get a whole new flavor, right? Do you agree? Or you're like, no thanks. I think it's really cool, really cool. I would like to know another question. It's been a little debate. I'm probably going to put it up on the channel, and hopefully you are already a part of the channel. I would love you to be part of the family. Please subscribe. But I would love to know, what are your cruise essentials? On our last cruise, it was very interesting the things that some of us decided we had to have. Some people are very minimalistic. They're like, listen, some shorts, some underwear, some t-shirts, grab your swimsuit and go. Don't make it hard. Don't make it difficult. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff. Everything you need is on the ship. Okay. And that there are other people that have this list that's, you know, front and back, 12 things deep on each side that they must have as a cruise essential. I would love to know, because I am putting together a new list of cruise essentials. I have a TikTok shop, so please go check it out. It's TikTok, Right Recipe for Travel on TikTok. And in there, in my TikTok shop, I have loads of cruise essentials, because so many different people say it's essential that they have this. And then I have an Amazon store, and it's always listed in all of my videos. If you click on the description, all of the Amazon cruise essentials are in there. But it's time to update because things have changed. I would love to know, what are some of your cruise essentials? Right. Some people, I had never thought of this, they need a white noise. Yeah, white noise machine. I wouldn't call that an essential for me. I don't need that necessarily, but I 100% understand, because as we know, cruise rooms, the walls are thin. You can hear other people. You definitely can hear when they're walking outside. Maybe you hear music, maybe you hear chairs moving, all kind of things. So some people do need some kind of noise, some quiet, some calm to go to sleep at night. Others might need, you know, a mask for your eyes to go to sleep. There's so many different essentials that I think I need to update on my list. Now I have things, you know, like magnets, the cruise magnets. That is an essential for us now, because we know cruise rooms are notoriously small. So that just gives me a little bit more space to hang up things. I put umbrellas and I put my hats and my backpacks and sometimes wet clothing. The little magnets that you just, since all of the walls are, you know, magnetic, what am I trying to say? Metal. So the cruise magnets, really something small that you can put in there. Well, now it's like an essential. Others need fans because it does run hot. Others, believe it or not, need heaters because they get cold. There's areas on the cruise ship that are freezing. I agree, you know, jacket. What about your umbrella? It seems it usually rains on one of the places that we go to, or a rain jacket, or, you know, when we went to Cozumel, it poured the whole time we were there. I think we had about 10-15 minutes was when it wasn't actually coming down with the rain, it poured. So what are some of your cruise essentials? Please do drop it down in the comments. I'm going to compile that list and make sure that in my Amazon store and in my TikTok shop, I have those cruise essentials. Because I want to make sure that we all have a good list, and then I will create a video of the new cruise essentials. And I watch other creators, some of the things that they say, some of the new finds, the unique things And I have seen some really interesting finds that I thought, now that would be neat. Not necessarily an essential, but it would be nice to have. So let me know about your cruise essentials. And I did see the comment, what would you need? A good gym. Well, they all have that. And I mean, this is really probably state-of-the-art gyms with all the equipment that you could ever even imagine. Take a look at my video for Embarkation Day for our latest cruise. And usually any of my videos about Embarkation Day, I try to do a ship tour, go around, and I usually am able to catch the gym and give you a tour of that. Gyms usually have really great equipment, state of the art. And so you would probably have no problem finding that on any cruise line. Yeah. All right. Let me tell you about our next cruise story. Now this one, this one's quite interesting. It is about the woman, you might have seen it, who got stuck in one of those slides. The, what do you call it? Water slide. I don't go on water slides. She got trapped, caught in it. Yeah. How horrible. Just to me, they're these enclosed slides that you go down, they're thin anyway, right? So the fact of getting trapped inside of there, ooh, that would be a slight nightmare for me. I'm sure it was for her too. Let me tell you the story. It says here, shocking video, so people got video of it, shows cruise passenger trapped in a water slide over the ocean. It's a viral video now. In a shocking moment, a cruise passenger was spotted stuck in a water slide hanging over the ocean. And this was reported, I'm getting this information from a story on the New York Post. The viral video shows the passenger wriggling inside the transparent tube above the waves. They make it sound horrible, right? Wriggling in the transparent tube. Okay. I'm sure that's how she felt. I'm not laughing at the fact that this happened. I'm laughing at their use of wording here. The 13-second video, which was originally posted on TikTok by @Kayla Mirzajewski. I'm sorry, I know I said that wrong. On September 19th, gained huge traction, and it got around 7 million views. Yeah. So this is what happened. In the video, the passenger can be seen attempting to get down the slide. Their arms were fully extended, and they were moving their body forward. Another passenger saw the incident, who was heard saying in the video, "Oh my God, she's literally stuck." The video doesn't mention the exact date and place of the incident. However, a report by People noted that the vessel closely resembled Norwegian Cruise Line's Norwegian Bliss, which reportedly has a double-looped water slide called Ocean Loops. So if anyone was on the Norwegian Bliss who can either confirm or deny this, we'd love to hear that. Drop it in the comments. As per a cruise tracking site, Cruise Mapper, Bliss was sailing a 7-day round-trip Alaskan cruise off the coast of Victoria, British Columbia on that day. What exactly happened to the woman, whether or not she was able to scoot her way to safety, that's still unclear. These slides reportedly have an emergency escape hatch for trapped passengers. So this is not something that's brand new. It can happen, and because it can happen, they build these emergency escape hatches here. It says here, as quoted in the New York Post, anyone else having a panic attack watching this? Like I said, just the thought of being trapped in that little space with all this water flowing, I don't want to imagine it. That's terrible. Was there anyone who knows more about what ship and what happened? That would be terrible. I don't know. I do not get on water slides. It's not because of that, because this is, not something that always happens, but I am not a water slide girl at all. Don't want to, not interested, but I know kids really love it, and adults, they have a great time on these slides. Can you imagine? Has this ever happened to any of you? You ever been trapped, stuck on a water slide? I know my sister, she tells me that some of them can give you a really good wedgie or, a burn as you slide down. You got to be careful about them. but I have never done a water slide. I just think that was terrible. She was not injured. There's no reports here of her being injured or, hurt. She got out of there, I guess, through this emergency trap. It doesn't really say in this story that I'm looking at, but what I hear is she is completely fine after this. But I wanted to share that story with you. Be aware, be careful, because that can happen. I just thought, oh my gosh. I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to share another story with you that's not cruise news. And I mostly talk about cruising because that's probably 90% of my trips. But other trips that I take, and I take many, but other trips that I take are like amusement parks. I'm a Disney person, and I'm a Universal person, and a SeaWorld, and all these. I have lots of grandkids, and I'm not blaming it on them. I would go if I didn't, but we go to amusement parks. And I've talked to you, and I have videos up about the brand new amusement park built by Universal Studios. And have you heard the news? And it's not good. It's terrible, terrible news. Epic Universe, which is the brand new park by Universal Studios, was like, they just opened in May. So 5 months. And a person has died on the roller coaster there. It's called Stardust Racers. It's a dueling roller coaster, and everybody loves it. Top ride there. And there's like 3 rides there that everybody raves about. It says you gotta ride them. They are the most innovative. There's nothing like them. They're so, people, breath taken away. And I'm talking about people who go to amusement parks and are like diehard fans, and they do this. Epic Universe has been getting rave reviews. Now, it's a new park, so there are kinks. They need more rides. They don't have a whole bunch of shade. The trees are newer, but rave reviews. And then I think this took place on September 17th. This gentleman rode Stardust Racers, and when the ride came to a conclusion, he was found unresponsive. It's still an ongoing investigation. They don't know what happened. I think the coroner said it was blunt force impact, multiple blunt force impacts. So, your mind goes to, oh my gosh, what hit him on this ride? We don't know. He did have a pre-existing condition, spinal condition, where he was in a wheelchair when he got on this ride. There's so many questions. The only thing that we know is tragically he did lose his life on this ride, and it's terrible. The family have hired a very high-profile attorney. The executives at Universal have stated that the ride functioned as it was supposed to, like there was nothing faulty there. Of course, this is probably going to go on for a while, but my family, we looked at one another and thought, ugh, will we go? I know. It makes you pause. We're rooting for this park. I think it's a great addition in Orlando there. We enjoy Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, but that was so tragic. It was so terrible. Any thoughts on this? Are any of you park people? Do you go to these amusement parks? Would you go? We were looking for it. We had our trip that we were planning to take next April, and we're not sure now if we're going to still go at all, if we're still going in April, and we're certainly not sure about that ride. Now, of course, Universal definitely doesn't want to have a ride that people would, have the thoughts that we're having. It's unsafe to go. I wouldn't let my kids, I wouldn't get on it. So there's going to be a lot more press about this. We're going to hear about the safety and maintenance, and we're going to hear a lot about this. But I just wanted to throw that out there. That was something that's been on our minds. Might have a change of plans for next year, because that was one of the trips that we were taking. Yeah, let me know if you are a park person. If you would go to a Universal or a Disney or a SeaWorld or what's some of the other, Six Flags. Where I live, Six Flags is just a hop, skip, and a jump away here in Texas. So are you a park person? Some people are like, are you kidding me? I don't get on those things anyway. The food and the fun. We went for Christmas to Disney during Christmas time, and it was so fun. It was so special. I was moved to tears, as I usually am. It's a lot of fun. Back to the cruise stuff though. Here's another cruise news story I have to share with you. Royal Caribbean, they're at it again. Royal Caribbean, listen, they build the world's largest cruise ships and people love them. Even people who are not cruisers, who said, I'm not getting on that. Are you crazy? It's a petri dish. It's all the negative stuff that people say about cruising. Even those people get on Royal Caribbean ships because they are the largest in the world and they have some innovations that people hadn't ever seen before. And they're doing it again. They're doing it again. Let me read this to you, what Royal Caribbean came out with, and this was 2 days, September 23rd, and let us all know. This is the information that they've shared. More innovation is on the horizon for Royal Caribbean as it strengthens its relationship with Meyer Turku. Meyer Turku is a shipbuilder, and they build ships for all cruise lines, but they are one of the world's largest and most modern shipyards, and they specialize in building cruise ships, okay? So this Finnish shipbuilder and Royal Caribbean have secured an agreement to build at the shipyard through the next decade. So Royal Caribbean is not looking back, they are looking forward. They are committed to building these ships, and I'm talking about the big ships. Meyer Turku is the shipbuilder for Royal Caribbean's Icon class ships, which are, as we know, the largest cruise ships in the world. The cruise line's third and fourth Icon ships are currently under construction at the shipyard. So we already talked about that there's 2 more being built right now. The 2 new ships follow Icon of the Seas, which launched in 2024, just last year, and Star of the Seas, which debuted just last month in August of 2025. So they have 2 more that they are currently working on. So this new agreement with Meyer Turku sets the stage for further expansion of Royal Caribbean's Icon class ships. These are the Icon class. And it readies the cruise lines for its next stage of innovation. So Royal Caribbean says, we know you love Icon. And yes, they're super cool, but we're about to do something new. They're teasing us because they don't want to tell us right now exactly what this new class of cruise ship is, but they have dropped hints before. They had said something like Discovery or the Discovery Project. So, us who are listening, we're like, okay, the Discovery class ships, but they have not 100% said that. It says here, no details about the new ship class has been revealed yet, but Royal Caribbean executives have recently dropped hints about their Discovery project that's currently in design process. In an exciting project, it'll be a new class of ship. This is what's coming directly from Royal Caribbean. In true Royal Caribbean style, it will be special, it will be innovative, and I think it'll be something that'll be a home run from the beginning. So I'm listening to the words, innovative, special, a home run. I'm putting this together. What do you think? What are they talking about? This came from Royal Caribbean Senior Vice President of Sales, Vicky Freed, about this Discovery project. Before revealing more of the Discovery project, the cruise line is adding another Icon to the order book, though. They're still working on Icon. As part of the new agreement with Meyer Turku, Royal Caribbean has confirmed an order for a 5th Icon class ship to be delivered in 2028. So this makes me think, because Royal Caribbean has also dropped hints and teased us here in Texas that they are bringing an Icon class ship to Homeport out of Galveston. And we're like, well, hurry up. So they already have Icon. They have the Star, the Legends being built, their other. I really do hope we don't have to wait until 2028 to get our Icon class ship here in Texas, but hey, I'll take it. It says the cruise line also added an option to build Icon 7, in addition to the previously announced option to build Icon 6. So they're going with what's working, and why wouldn't they? Their ships are selling out, and they are selling for, in my opinion, and I'm a travel advisor, astronomical prices, and people are paying them. People are not backing up when, we tell them it'll be $1,700 per person for an inside. Okay. The prices that you would pay for a suite on other cruise lines. People are paying the price because they want the technology. They want the innovation. They want to say they have been on the world's largest cruise ship and see everything that would offer. They want that. And they have, you know, Royal Caribbean has some really good things going for it. Their food is great. Their shows are spectacular, top notch. I would make more cruise ships if I was them as well. Says here, Meyer Turku is currently building Royal Caribbean's third Icon class ship, which we already know is called the Legend of the Seas, which will launch in summer of 2026 alongside Icon 4, which that's just the name they have right now, which is scheduled to be delivered in 2027. Royal Caribbean also has a 7th Oasis class ship on order for delivery in 2028 by French shipbuilder Chantiers de l'Antique. So they're building another, even Oasis class ship at a different shipbuilder. Royal Caribbean's group new agreement with Meyer Turku is one pivotal piece in its multi-year pipeline of vacation innovation. So Royal Caribbean is doing it and doing it big, and I'm all here for it. I want to go on all of them. Maybe not Utopia of the Seas. You don't hear a whole bunch about Utopia. Utopia was the biggest weekend ever. It was the biggest ship that came out in the Oasis class that would do weekend cruises. It's doing weekend cruises. And weekend cruises have typically been called party cruises. You know, people go on there for the big party. And as I've gotten older, I'm just not the party girl. I'm not a big drinker anyway. I do like the music and the vibe and the upbeat, but I'm not really sure if I really, Utopia, I would put that later. I would do that later. I would get on all of the other Icons and Oasis class ships. I would love to hear from you. Have you gone on all of the new Oasis class ships and Utopia? What do you think? What do you think? Which one would you recommend? If you had to get on another one again, which would you pick? I would love to know. What are some of the things on the ship that you really liked and some of the things that you thought you should have done a better job, Royal? The ice shows, the water shows, their Broadway style shows. I mean, it's just great. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to them bringing their ship to Texas. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you down here. You know, the only thing about, as most of you do know, if you travel and cruise out of Galveston, if it's not more than a 7-night, we go to the same port. So we would like something fresh and new. You know, a 14, 16, 18-day itinerary that takes us away from just Western Caribbean and maybe takes us other places. We would go crazy down here. They would be boot scooting and boogieing and hat tipping and anything that you think is stereotypical Texas, they would do it. We would pay you. We would say, take our money and take it quickly, because we are all saying, oh, it's the same. We're going to the same old places, and I understand geography. So we need a big, beautiful ship that takes us on longer itineraries, and we will hand you the money. Just note that I said that, because I would be one of the first. Yeah. So bring your Icon class ships to Texas. I would love to hear from you. Tell me what you think. What's your favorite Icon class? Is it Star of the Seas, which I'm seeing all kind of really good videos about it, or is it Icon? When we were on our Carnival Jubilee trip, it was so funny. It was early morning and we were all sitting eating, no, it was early afternoon, and we were eating lunch at Coastal Slice the Pizza. And I started to hear like a buzz. Oh. So I'm looking around like, what's going on? And I see out the window, people are pointing. We're on the Carnival Jubilee, right? Carnival's largest, beautiful cruise ship, Excel class. And people are like losing it because the Icon of the Seas is right there. And I was like, oh, Mom, Tiff, I'll be right back. I got up and I took that camera and I was out there oohing and on with everybody else. And people were pointing and turning around and showing and like, I've been on that. Have you been on that? We're going on that. We're going next. So even on the ship that we were on, people were still like losing it when they saw the Icon, you know, passing by. And we were all just standing out there like, boy, that's a big ship. So it turns heads. It turns heads. Yeah. All right. I've got 2 more cruise news stories. I probably shouldn't have saved these for the end because both of these are not so good. not so good. Let me tell you the first one. Coast Guard responds to passenger evacuation on Carnival Venezia. Have you done Carnival Italian style, the Venezia and the Firenze? Yeah, we're about to check out Carnival Italian style. I want to see what that's all about. I'll share that with you in another video. But let me get back to this. A guest required a medical airlift evacuation from Carnival Venezia on Monday, yesterday, September 22nd. The ship was approximately 30 miles offshore when the emergency call was made, and the United States Coast Guard successfully did evacuate that guest. The Venezia has had several notable medical evaluations over the past 2 years, including incidents on embarkation day as well as long distance rescue options, says my story here. Let me see. It says here the guests that were aboard on the Venezia when this happened, it was a much shorter cruise than they expected, but thankfully they were able to receive critical help with the Coast Guard because this evacuation happened just very shortly after the ship departed from New York. The ship had barely been on 4 or 5 hours before this evacuation happened. It was just, it says 30 miles off the coast of Atlantic City, New Jersey. The nature of this medical emergency has not been disclosed. They haven't said, what happened. They just said they needed to get this evacuation done, and it was airlift. That would be a sight. You don't want to gawk at somebody having a terrible problem that they need to be airlifted, but that would be a sight, that you're on a cruise ship and you hear the sound of this medical helicopter coming and lifting a passenger up. That would be a wild sight. It says the transfer via helicopter was completed successfully near Atlantic City, New Jersey, and the ship resumed sailing with no impact to its 9-day Caribbean cruise itinerary. So, isn't that interesting how someone can be having a medical emergency so serious that they need to be airlifted to a hospital, and then thousands of other people are partying hardy and might not even know it? Yeah. They've, say what you want, but people have paid big money to go on this cruise vacation, and so they're doing what they can not to interrupt it, right? Yeah. Yes, see, it says, let me see, I'm trying to see if although it says they have not released the name of the passenger or what the condition was, and although they said it didn't alter the itinerary, it says satellite tracking data also shows how the ship's route was altered as Carnival Venezia turned back toward the coast to meet up with the rescue team quickly. So I guess they're saying that the ship left New York, this incident happened, they turned right back around to meet the rescue team, and then it went on out and did its 9-day cruise. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the person who was medical airlifted, and we definitely hope that they are doing well. There's not much more information given on that. Have you sailed on the Carnival Venezia? Are you on there now? And what do you think about this? What do you think about Carnival Fun Style, the Venezia and the Firenze? We have been recently looking at videos of Carnival Fun Style because we think we're going to take one of those ships very soon. Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to, forgive me for a second while I pull up this last cruise news story. This cruise story is a mystery. Do you watch true crime, true drama like Dateline or Snapped or any of those shows that tell you about strange happenings? Strange happenings. This is one of those for the books. You know how they say truth is stranger than fiction? You don't have to go and make up a story. These stories that we hear about sometimes are even stranger than made up drama. Let me see. I'm going to find it. It's about a cruise passenger who has disappeared. How do you disappear? How do you disappear from a ship? How do you get on a ship and then you can't be found? Okay. It's happened. It's happened. Let me read you the story. It says Carnival cruise passenger who went missing went missing from the ship doesn't want to be found. Yeah. Jessica Collins, 47, an American guest aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship, failed to return to the ship after its stop in the Caribbean island on September 17th. So she got on the Carnival Horizon. They stopped at Curacao, I think it is. And once it was time to get back on and go, she wasn't on the ship. Let me read more. Local authorities are working with the public entity of Bonaire. I'm sorry, not Curacao, Bonaire, sorry. The Port Authority Tourism Corporation, Bonaire, Carnival Cruise Line Security, the ship's security chief, and other partners. So there are a couple of entities working together to find this person. They are also in direct contact with Carnival Corporation and the U.S. authorities. Carnival Cruise told People this guest began her sail on September 13th. She got on board, but never came back. She debarked with all of her belongings in her backpack and left a cash gratuity for the stateroom attendant with a thank you note. Carnival Cruise said in their statement, the guest subsequently texted a member of our care team who had been trying to reach her, saying she was safe and did not want to be found or contacted again. So they reached out to her because anytime the ship is about to leave a port and they note that somebody's not on board, you know, we talk about those pier runners, they reach out. They try to find, you know, contacting them. We're leaving. Are you okay? And they contacted her and she responded, I'm safe. I'm okay. I don't want to be found. Very suspicious. While we are cooperating with local authorities, this guest appears to have taken deliberate action to be alone and on her own, Carnival added. Carnival also told USA Today that the passenger debarked with all of her belongings in her backpack, and she left that cash gratuity for the stateroom attendant with a thank you note. So it seems like she was preparing to get off and not come back if you're taking, you know, all of your belongings with you. There was surveillance pictures that showed Collins aboard the cruise ship wearing a gray backpack just before she exited the ship. She also wore a short-sleeved button-down shirt and shorts. Bonaire previously said in its September 20th statement to USA Today that Collins had her identification with her, but had left some baggage and personal items on the ship. So it looks like, she didn't take everything. The 8-day Southern Caribbean cruise departed from Miami on September 13th. Bonaire authorities have said anyone with information about Collins can report it through an anonymous tip line, per their press release. So she got on the ship, got off, and left. You know, we don't know what goes through anyone's mind. You know, a lot of us get ready for a cruise and we're thinking it's going to be one of the best, most fun, relaxing, whatever kind of experiences, and that's about it. But can you imagine thinking I'm going to get on this cruise ship and go this place and not come back? I don't know. Have you been on the Carnival Horizon? Have you been to Bonaire? I think Bonaire is a lovely place, and I can understand somebody wanting to go and stay for a long time, but we are not allowed to get on a cruise ship and then get off at the islands and stay. It's just not the way that we are able to go to the new place. We're not allowed to do that. I have no idea that's all the information that I have about this cruise news story, but I just thought, oh, that's at least it's not, she disappeared, nobody knows what happened to her. They saw where she went. They saw her walk off and she left a note. Hopes, you know, praying for her as well, because there's got to be something going on that you would do it this way. I don't know. What are your thoughts about this? I would love to hear your thoughts on these cruise news stories. Those are the 4 stories that I'm going to share with you tonight. As always, there are so many more cruise news stories going on. We're talking still about Carnival loyalty. We're talking about the perks that they're taking away. People are still very upset about that. New cruise ships, change of itineraries, dinner offerings. There's always so much going on. And a lot of it is exciting, good news, you know, in the cruise industry, but some is not. So stay aware, be situationally aware. while we were on our last cruise, we were touring the Lido, not Lido, but the sports court where Bolt is located, and the basketball court and the waterworks. And we're touring that and having a good time. And we're like, okay, all done. Let's go downstairs and do something else. So we head to the elevator, and there is a young girl laying on the floor next to the elevator. She had to be, I think we asked her how old she was. And she said she was, I think she said 11. 7 or 11. One of the two. Either way, she was a petite little thing, and she looked more like she would be 7, even if she told us she was 11. And she was by herself. And she just laid on the floor waiting for the elevator, and she was a sweet little talkative thing. And she's like, hey, and she started talking like some kids will do, and just telling us, oh, I'm waiting for my brother. I'm going to go downstairs, and I've been on the water slide for hours, and I'm so tired, and I'm a little sunburned, and oh, and she's just talking away. And myself and my companions were there, and then another couple came, and we were kind of all like, and my mother said, are you by yourself here? And she's like, yeah, my mom's in the room. My mom stays in the room. She sleeps all the time. She's always asleep. And kids, I didn't necessarily believe that that's the exact case, that mom is just in the room sleeping the whole cruise. But we were like, oh, where are you going? She's like, I'm about to meet my brother, and we're going to go somewhere. And we're like, well, how old is your brother? And if I'm not mistaken, she was 7, now that I think about it, and brother was 11. And they were going to go and hang out at the arcade. We were concerned, and we kind of watched her get on the elevator and go where she needed to go. But you just, we talk about remaining aware. Don't just let it all hang out really legitimately on a cruise. You still have to be aware. People are still there that might not have the best intentions. There are thousands and thousands of people aboard this cruise ship. You need to be aware. Let people know where you are. Don't just let it all go. I don't know. My mom thought about that for the longest. We prayed about that. I don't know if I was a mom, if I would I said if I was a mom. I am a mom. If I was a mom with a young child, I'm almost 100% sure I wouldn't let them out of my sight unless they were in the children's zone. Because when I cruised with my kids when they were young, that's how it went. The only time I didn't know where they were I didn't know where they were. But when they weren't with me, they were with the kids club. And then I picked them up, and they were with me. They were with me or with the kids club. I didn't let them just, I just didn't have that thought in mind. Things, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we should have contacted someone? My mom was guilty, she felt very concerned and nervous about it. I didn't necessarily. I did believe that she was going to meet this brother, and I don't know. But don't let your kids go wandering by themselves. It's just not a good idea. That's my public service announcement for tonight. That is it for my live for tonight. I sincerely thank you for giving me an hour of your time. I hope that this was some good, valuable information. Please, please drop me some comments. I'm going to respond to them. If you would like me to book you any type of travel, cruising, or anything else, drop that down too. I have my information in the description of this video. I would love to prepare that for you. And watch the rest of our Carnival Jubilee adventures. I should be putting the next video up either Wednesday or Thursday when we get off and go visit the Isle of Roatan. We had a blast. Also, don't forget to check out my Amazon store, my TikTok shop, and check down in the description to see how you can support us even further. Don't forget to give us a like. And I thank you so much. I'm going to see you again next Tuesday. That's when we do, what am I trying to say? That's when I go live on Tuesday. That's just seemed to have been the best day for me. It fits in my schedule. Let me know if you think this is not the best day for you. I could change some things. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.